Hello, my name's Liam. Welcome to my channel. Thought I'd give this a little go just to try and connect with a few other people in the community and maybe to get some conversations going. First video I'm going to start putting out, I've dabbled here and there in the past, but nothing overly serious. So we'll see how long this lasts for, how long I keep up with it. Quick little bit about me. Been reading since about 2007. Initially started with the UK Panini reprints. Got impatient and then started buying them like pull list wise from a then local comic shop in about 2009, and they've been pulling books for us ever since. Predominantly in that time I'm been a bit of a Marvel zombie, but it's an ailment I've been trying to rid myself of over the past few years, especially trying to dabble into some other series and stuff that I've not really checked out in the past, and recommendations I've seen on channels on YouTube, both kind of recently and in the past. Having followed channels like Howler Mouse and Ghost Critic and of course Bromstar, Captain Strangelove and all the OGs from back in the day up until the channels now, where they're a bit more flashy with the graphics and the speculation and the values and stuff like that, which is an important part of the hobby, but it's not something that overly interests us as predominantly a reader myself. Just thought I'd do a quick little video just to kind of talk about my collecting goals for the upcoming year, maybe get some feedback from other guys, what you guys are looking into, what kind of things you're looking to finish up and collect from to build up for the next 12 months. Last year was a bit of a kind of organisational year. Got the shelves and stuff you see behind us sorted, and just try to get things a bit more organised so I can enjoy my collection a bit more freely. A lot of the stuff was just kind of boxed up and not really accessible, so I found myself double dipping quite a lot, especially on some of the stuff on the shelf there. So that was the main thing, and I also wanted to try and get back into reading a bit more consistently, so I set myself a challenge last year to try and read at least one comic or the equivalent of, if it's a graphic novel, a day, which I managed to keep up for pretty much all of the year. I think there was only 2 or 3 days where I wasn't able to do that, so I was fairly happy with that. But I think this year I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on some collecting goals that I've got, and like I said, just want to share those. And first one, we'll say we'll do the top 5 maybe. So in 5th place is Warrior magazine. So the size of them was quite prohibitive to us initially, and I don't know why, because obviously you're getting a lot of art and a lot of space and stuff like that to see them. I've got the first 18 issues of these, which I got kind of double dipping from reading the Eclipse Miracle Man and the collected editions and V for Vendetta, and got those in singles and stuff like that as well. But I want to have the originals as well, so looking to try and get number 19 to 26 of those to finish that off, and then I'll have a good read through them, see all the stories with Axel Pressbutton and is it Laser Eraser? I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. But yeah, if you've not read these, great books, artworks looks gorgeous in black and white, especially the David Lloyd stuff, and also the Gary Leach for the Miracle Man story, spoilers. But yeah, definitely recommend picking them up if you can get them. One can be a little bit expensive because it is the first appearance of and reappearance of Miracle Man from the previous Mick Anglo stuff, but yeah, hoping to get these. Bit not kind of a priority on my list, so if I come across them, but I'll probably not overly hunt them, so this could be a repeat offender if I do a list for next year. So in 4th place, for being a British comic fan, I don't have any Judge Dredd basically. I've got a few little bits and bobs I've picked up from Free Comic Book Days and different stories and stuff like that over the years, but I think what I really want to do this year is expand on that, and I want to collect the complete case files. So 1, I think they look quite good on the shelf. 2, especially the earlier stuff, I think it's the first 8 or so volumes. There's a few storylines that I've kind of had my eye on and look quite interested in. Say a bit more like the John Wagner stuff, and I've heard the Ennis stuff and that isn't as good, but I'm quite interested to check that out and to kind of see maybe even as an evolution of his work over time. The only kind of current 2000 AD book I've actually got is the first appearances in it, which I've got, which is signed by Grant Morrison when I met him. But that's kind of just as a little novelty thing, so I like to do that when I'm meeting creators and try and find something a little bit more obscure that they've maybe not been signing for the duration of that. But it's probably just me being a bit of a pest, to be honest. So yeah, number 4, try and expand my Judge Dredd collection, or start one at least. So number 3 is the Wolfman and Perez Titans. So as I mentioned, I've always been a little bit of a Marvel zombie, but I've also been a little bit kind of going off the beaten track. Like a lot of collectors will go for, say, X-Men or Spider-Man and stuff like that, which is fine if that's what they're into. And, you know, I've got my own kind of favourites from those different IPs and stuff like that as well. But I tend to maybe go for a little bit more of the obscure titles or different teams, and especially with team books I quite like supervillain kind of team books, so like say Secret Sixes, Suicide Squads, Superior Foes of Spider-Man, Thunderbolts, that kind of thing. But Titans was a book I was a bit kind of on the fence about jumping into. I mean, I love George Perez's artwork from the books I do have read, like Crisis and stuff like that, but it's not really been something I've ever thought to kind of collect and piece together. And fairly recently I've been able to grab a few of the filler books, like so this one and some of the others, and I've got a couple of the better ones on the way for a future haul video. But yeah, just hoping to get these, finish that off, and then I can give it a good read through, hopefully before the end of the year. So number 2 is Hellblazer. So I'm missing 19 of the first 300, and I think it's from between kind of the 260 to 290 range from Peter Milligan's run. So I'm wanting to try and finish that off. I've also kind of got a bit of a passive kind of, not so much challenge, but a bit of a thingy where I want to try and collect the 26 numbered volumes for kind of as cheap as possible. And I think I've probably got about 10 or so of them at the moment, and I haven't spent more than kind of 15-20 £20 on them each, even like the Dangerous Habits one and stuff like that. So hopefully as they start reprinting printing the omnibus, people will kind of switch off the paperbacks and go to those and collect those, and I'll be able to pick them up. But definitely looking to finish that off. I did, as part of the reading I was doing last year, put all the books together, and I read through from number 1 to number 250. So I'm looking to kind of finish that kind of part of it once I've collected all of the Milligan issues and go from there. I do really enjoy the Si Spurrier stuff, the 12 issues, and then I think it was 11 issues in Dead in America. So if you've a bit of a lapsed Hellblazer fan and the New 52 stuff, and Constantine was not the best, I would definitely recommend those. I think it's collecting 2 trades and then a hardcover for Dead in America, but certainly worth your time, and the artwork on them is gorgeous. But yeah, get the last 19, give the Milligan stuff a read, and then I can put that to bed. So the main collecting goal for 2026, and I said 2027 there, flying, no editing, is Daredevil. So I'm missing issue 1, the proper version, not the snidey facsimile, and issue 2. So as part of kind of purging and sorting stuff out, I managed to sell a good chunk of books I wasn't interested in, like partial runs and doubles and stuff like that. So it's pretty much just waiting to pounce on the right books as they come up. I think probably about a 2, nicely presented 2 in number 1, and I think maybe it's around the 3-5 kind of range on a number 2. I'd be very happy with those. And again, I've got the essential editions of the older stuff where I've got them graded, so I'm not overly fussed about having them raw. And like I say, I've got this one if I want to read number 1 again. But definitely 100% going to go for number 1 and 2 once the right deal shows itself. And then that'll be on to the next thing, which will probably be whatever my target number 1 is for next year's video. So we'll have to wait and see, because I'm on the fence about a couple of different runs from that kind of point of view. So yeah, that's me. Just, like I say, I want to say hello, drop a comment. Quite happy to engage. Is there anything you see on my shelves that you'd maybe think to recommend as some other titles you think I might enjoy? I'll probably do a shaky cam special on the bookshelves so you can have a little look through, because it goes up a couple more and there's a few kind of binders down in there. And then once I'm done, I'll maybe do a bit of a room tour and show you some of my singles and some of my better issues and stuff like that, and of course Daredevil issues as well once I've managed to track those down. But yeah, I'll probably be doing a whole video at some point in the not too distant future. Once I get a few books in, 'cause I'm still waiting on a couple of things coming from America, and once I do, go through those with you, show those off, and like I say, the Teen Titans books I've got coming as well. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year, and all the best for 2026. Take care. Bye.